Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's Ginseng Matters with Roy. And I'm so happy to be here again. So wherever you are, if you can see me clearly and you can hear me audibly well, please don't hesitate to say hello to me in the comment section. Let me know you are here and let me know where you're watching from. And guys, today is let me say today is a very special day. Yes. And we're so grateful unto God for the privilege He has given unto us, for thus far He has helped us in this year 2023 that is gradually coming to a close. Thank you very much, everyone that has joined this live conversations one time or the other. And for all our new viewers out there, it's still Ginseng Matters with Roy, your favorite YouTube channel where you get to learn, relearn, and unlearn from different aspects of live. And as you can see clearly, well, guys, I am not the only one here. I have a special guest. I have special guests with me here in the house. And I'm so excited to be doing this with them once again. So, guys, please join me in welcoming Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji. Thank you very much, Sayanama, for another opportunity to have you with us on the platform today. It's really been an amazing time with you all through these years. Wow, thank you so much, Sayanama. And for the sake of all our new viewers out there who do not know you and would like to know you, please kindly introduce yourself briefly and tell us any other thing you would like them to know about you. Over to you, Sayanama.
Okay, thank you, our host. We are happy to be here once again. My name is Fola Bolaji, and I have my wife Bumi here. We are both based in Boston, Massachusetts, and we are both into computer world. Our career is along the computer science line. We are doing fine, and we are happy to be here again, chatting with our friends. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, sir, for that brief introduction. Wow, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji has really been, how do I describe them? Indeed, they have been very supportive, and we really pray that the Lord continue to bless and keep your family. Thank you so much. Despite your busy schedule, you still find time to share with us from your wealth of experience. Thank you very much, sir and ma, once again. And to all our viewers out there, for many other people who are just seeing us for the first time today, if it's your first time, we actually started a series last week. No, not last week. The last episode, we had a practical and an insightful discussion. It was a very interesting conversation. And the topic was on must I check my phone? We had an interesting session that day, and we decided to continue today. And guys, if you are seeing us live already and if you this conversation will be useful for any other person around you, it may be your siblings, your colleagues at work, or a brother or a sister in the fellowship, don't hesitate to share this video out with them. Let them know that yes, we are live already on JC Matters with Roy. Thanks so much, Sainma. So as a continuation from where we stopped during our last episode, which was on Must It Touch My Phone. Today, the discussion is going to be on my phone calls. Is it in any way is business? Possibly I'm talking with my mom, or I'm talking with my dad, or maybe he's talking with his mom, or he's talking with his dad. And the conversation is getting to, oh, huh? Is your wife there? Is your husband there? And let this be between you and I. Things like that. And but before we continue the discussion, I think I want to ask this question. Like, are there situations that warrant this kind of discussions where maybe the husband or the wife has a conversation with his or with any of his family members and wouldn't want his or her wife, I mean the spouse, to hear about? I think we should start with that. Over to you, Simon.
Is your call my business? Okay, this is a very interesting topic, and this
Yeah.
is really nice. Let's hope that we'll be able to share our mind. Just as we always say, this is just our opinion. There is no cap that fits all. So, this is what we have seen, we have learned, and that is what we are sharing. And this platform is where we learn and unlearn. So, we are all learning and growing. But from our little bit of experiences, we'll be sharing what we think we know. It's not everybody that may agree with what we think we have seen and believe in, but if you are able to get on at least to a level, we'll be able to say we have learned one or two things. So our call is my business as long as we are in a marriage. My call is a business as long as we are still in this same marriage. So, one thing I believe is the Bible says, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife. What does that mean? It means that I need to start my own home. And if I'm starting my own home, I'm starting with my wife. She's starting with her husband. This is our own home now. This is our own life. We are building our own life, building our family. So whatever is affecting her, whatever can affect her emotion, whatever can affect her way of thinking, then is my business. Whatever can affect me, whatever can affect my emotion, whether I'm happy or sad or joyful or moody, is our business too. Notwithstanding, I believe my wife is going to talk from her own perspective as well. Notwithstanding, we need to understand that there is a place of trust in relationship. And notwithstanding that is my business and all those things, she's not in a cage and I'm not in a cage. Being married does not mean that I should not have my freedom. Being married does not mean that she should not have her freedom. But just like we said 2 weeks ago, the main thing is don't keep secret. Now there are relationships that we have with other people that are our families, our siblings, our parents. I may understand the temperament of my parents much more than she does. So in situation where my father is asking for privacy or my mother is asking for privacy, I don't see anything bad in that. There are some people that they want to express themselves and they will leave you to say it in any way to your spouse. For example, maybe my father is saying, "Oh, I don't like what you did the other time, and I want you to adjust. Whenever you come into town, you should always come to the family house to greet us first before you go anywhere." And maybe my wife is going through certain things, emotional situation during that time. Maybe things are not going well for her at work and things like that. And I begin to tell her that my father says he doesn't like the way we behave. That kind of thing. That is not the right time to be saying that kind of thing to my wife. So if my father is not saying it and she's listening at that time, there may be transfer of aggression. What she was going through at that time may be the way that she will interpret what my father is saying. I'm just giving an illustration. It may not be a perfect illustration, but I'm just saying that everybody knows their mood when how you can bring down a message to your spouse, a message from your parent. There are some parents that they don't mind you sharing it with your spouse, but let me share it with you first. You are the one that knows how to relay it to your spouse. There's no big deal in that. But if our mom is calling and I'm saying, I want to hear, what is she telling you? Why will you run into the room? Why will you? No, 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 no. She's not supposed to be in that cage. That is my view. Let me allow my wife to express her opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the bottom line is trust. There should be trust in a relationship. If one partner or the other is becoming too sensitive or asking questions, then it means you need to open up. And that kind of example is let's assume that he's counseling a lady or something, or there's this person that calls. in the night and they are talking and talking and talking, and I ask questions. There's nothing wrong in me asking questions because at that time it's my business. No matter what they are talking about, like I should have a knowledge of, oh, he's doing this because of this or something like that. But not that it's going to be like a secret or something that I don't have access to. So um it, his phone call is my business, my phone call is his business. But like he said, it's not a cage. If there is no problem, we shouldn't be oversensitive to the fact that he's making a call or taking a call and he has to excuse himself, or I don't know who she's talking to or something like that. Because there might be some situations, like he said, when you just want to pass on some information and you just think that it's fair to have that partner listen first before it gets transferred to another person. And sometimes, like Sister Rhoda said at the beginning, there may be situations where somebody calls and say, I want you to even keep this from your wife. The thing is, usually I look at the perspective of the person that is calling and making such a request. Now, you can either honor it or not honor it. The onus lies on you. People will always transfer to you their own experience. So, for example, if that is how we do things in my house, or I want to share something with you and I don't want your wife to know about it, that is my own choice to say, I want you to keep this from your wife. Now, the onus lies on the partner to weigh whether they want to keep that promise or not. So, that is going to be dependent on him to decide whether he wants to keep it or not from the partner. Then there are times that people have such questions of, is your wife there or your husband there? I want to discuss this with you alone, just because it might even be about the partner, for the good of the partner. But it's just a kind of like honor, right,
Yeah.
to say, I would have I would have suggested this to your wife, but
Mm.
I think it's better if it's coming from you,
Yeah.
or it will show much care, or it's just like a counsel. If it's coming from you, like it will look better. So that's another situation. Then for parents, um, I just want to mention lastly that sometimes some people, in the face of transparency, would insult their parents when they're requesting for like time alone. And for example, if my mom should call and say, this is for you, don't like, this is not your husband, is, it's between me and you and things like that. I don't necessarily need to tell her, if my husband cannot hear it, then no say it. Like, sometimes such situations might just be what they have grown and experienced, and you
Yeah.
just need to relate with them in wisdom at that point. So it's not in every case that you necessarily need to establish the fact that whatever I know my husband knows. It's just a matter of how, what they count as important. Like,
Yeah.
I want to give a quick example. Like, we're discussing recently about a friend whose mom cooked. Like, my mom, let's assume my mom is around and she cooks, and I come home and she's like, I've helped you to cook the soup, but don't let your husband know. The thing is, my husband doesn't care whether my mom makes the soup or not.
You know?
But in her own traditional sense, she feels it is wrong for her to be the one cooking. And so by helping me, she's trying to be like, I don't want your husband to know that I was the one that did it. Now, that is her whole understanding. But by whole understanding, I know my husband does not care at all whether my mom made it or not. So, but we just need to handle such relationships with wisdom,
Yeah.
not like insult people, because sometimes the way they grow up is the way they are going to definitely relate with us. But we know that we have better understanding. So I would say wisdom is profitable to direct in
Direct.
how to handle such situations.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Stabumi. I think just let me continue from where Stabumi stopped. Like, wisdom is profitable because there are situations where possibly, let me give this illustration, where this is still with talking about parents, where maybe the father or the mother of one of the spouse is discussing a particular issue related to their own family. This is a family matter, and they feel, oh, maybe your wife or your husband might not be able to manage this information properly. Let it be within the family circle. So in situations like this, where either of the parents is requesting that, oh, maybe your spouse might not be able to understand this situation properly, but you are in the best position to understand. So in a situation like this, how do you get to manage this in such a way that, oh, you try to keep this away from your partner, and you're trying to as well like manage or coordinate things with your family, within your family circle.
Yeah. So
I hope you
that's a,
understand this kind
yeah,
of
that's the next
situations.
one. So in social studies, while growing up, one of those things it taught us is there is nuclear family and there
And
is
there is
extended
extended
family.
family.
The failure of extended family will be the failure of my dad. The failure of my nuclear family will be my home failure. Everybody has responsibilities and roles and responsibilities. Now, I know what may work for my family. If what, so if I'm talking about my family, I will first think about the nuclear before I begin to think of extended. So if you are saying let it be within this our family and things like that, so then it's beginning to raise some concern for me because you are like, okay, is my wife part of this extended family that we are talking about? If she's not part of this extended family, then it's more or less like I'm no more part of this extended family. But now there are sensitive issues, maybe generational issues that your spouse may not have full understanding about. I think it's better to update your spouse about certain things. It's better because family structure differs. But in my own case, I remember when we wanted to get engaged and we sat down, we talked, and I said, everything about my siblings, I will share with you. Everything about your siblings, share with me. Let's know the status of everybody. If you are talking about we want to be praying for our siblings, if you are talking about okay, if God help our siblings, I will need help from them. If you are talking about if God help us and our siblings need our help, we should not be that I've not told you this before, but we have this kind of culture in my family that this is the way that we have all agreed that the salary of everybody will be cut into half and it will now go to my parents, go to my siblings, and after marriage. That is not right. That is not right in my own perspective. So if my father is saying, oh, we want this to be in the family, I will raise an objection and I will say, okay, that's your view, daddy. And I know that you raised me to be able to make decisions for myself and even for the family I'm raising. This is my own suggestion. There are things that I may not be able to keep from my wife. There are things that may not be the right time to tell her, such I can keep. Probably, maybe we are planning something that will be a surprise. So, like time-based secret that in the next 2 weeks, you don't need to tell her. By this 2 weeks' time, things will have matured and she will know. But to keep me in perpetual bondage, never let your wife hear about this. It's not going to work. For my own family. It may work for some family, but for my own family that I'm raising, because I want my wife also to be transparent to me. So I need to live transparently with my wife. So I need to create that boundary. If certain people are telling me, please, I don't want your wife to hear about this. For how long, sir? For how long? That is it. But if it is forever, please, it may not work. If it's for a period of time because you want certain things to mature, fine. But if it's forever, for my nuclear family, it may not work. That's my own view.
Yeah, I want to also look at it from the point of view of maturity in the relationship. Now, my security with my husband will definitely be different from my sister's or my mother's security with my husband because they've not had the kind of relationship I've had with him. So, let's assume that there is something shameful or something we count like as a family stigma. Maybe um, there's a disability with someone in the family or thing like different people carry different things differently, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes there are situations like that, and because they're still insecure, they don't feel comfortable sharing with my husband. And that was why I said that the age of the relationship also matters. Like in the early stages of marriage, you are still trying to build relationship, because the way you also get married differs. Like if you get married from the same church where their parents know your parents, like they've interacted a while, it's different from if I'm getting married from another culture or state where it was our marriage that brought my parents together for the first time ever. Like they never crossed path. It was when we were doing maybe like traditional introduction or something like that, that they got to know him. So definitely they will still have some form of insecurities at the beginning of the relationship. Things they don't think looks beautiful enough, they might want to keep it away from the other partner because they don't feel secure yet. So at that stage of relationship, like I said, wisdom is profitable to direct. You will manage your relationship with your spouse and manage your relationship with your family members. And as you're drawing the line, you are drawing the line carefully as well, um, until they all get comfortable with one another. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
expressing it well,
Yeah.
but there are situations like that. Like we can't just think, oh, because we are married now, they should know that we are married, and they should like, so sometimes it's not like that. So
Yeah.
there is a stage where the relationship is still maturing, but you that you're in the midline, this is your nuclear family in a way,
Yeah.
and your new nuclear family in another sense. So you are the one that knows how to bridge that relationship over time. But like he said, it cannot remain like that eternally. Like you need to like bridge them and understand one another's weaknesses and pains, or at the end of the day, you might need to choose a side of what matters to you, what priority, what has a higher priority with you now, and the other. So that's another perspective that I want us to look at it. Then, in another sense, when family is saying, keep away from your spouse, and this is a relationship, let's assume 10 years of marriage, 12 years of marriage, 15 years of marriage. At that stage, I would say the spouse, who is the family member, has not done well enough. So because it means that at that, after those number of years, they still don't have a good relationship with your partner.
Mm.
So it might be that the partner has its own problem, but then it is the person in the game now who has the association with both families that need to prioritize, where do I make him known to my family, like this is my new family and this is how we work. So yeah, that's those are the two distinctions that I want to make with that.
Wow. Thank you very much, Sai and Ma, for these wonderful submissions. Now, I don't know if you've had these sayings before, like yeah, generations. Like say generations before, or like I've always had these conversations between mom and daughters, like uh they cite this example, like okay, when a daughter goes home, or maybe you want to give money to your parents, you give the both of them money, and then by the time before you leave again, you still give an extra to your mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
you, you give an extra to your mom. And then I've had this kind of saying several times, like we with our parents, like I think maybe very common between moms are always saying these kind of things, like okay, this is the culture, this is the way it's being done. After we've given our dad money, we still give
Give them.
something to our moms, like okay, this is for you, this is an addition for you. In this kind of situation, would you say, oh, or maybe while you are trying to do that, and maybe the husband comes in and is like, what's going on here? And the mom is like, mom conversations are like, this is the normal thing. So in situations like this, how do you counsel couples to be, young couples or newly married, what can they do in situations like this? Or possibly even it might even be on the phone, this kind of conversations. How can they address it and manage it in a way that it doesn't affect their relationship with their partners?
Yeah, that sounds good. It's depending on the age of marriage, just like my wife said the other time. And you see, um, I want to say something. We need to respect our parents, and at the same time, it's always good if the husband and the wife do that in unity. It's always good. And if the method that, let's say, my mother-in-law, for example, is used to, is that even if your husband and if you and your husband gives me something, you should also still give me something. It may be a mutual arrangement between us that, okay, if that is our method, no problem. If you plan to give her 100K, okay, let's give her 80K. Yeah, and you take the remaining 20K, give it to her if that is what she wants. But it's the mutual knowledge. It's not as if she is doing something secretly. Because if you are doing it secretly, you are saying that don't mind what my husband gives you. Don't mind what me and my husband decided to give you. We are not in unity about that. Take this extra. That is the communication. That's the message you are sending to her. So there are families that have been issues that, yeah, my child is not giving me this, my child is not. So there are some people that made it known to their parent that whatever my husband gives to you is what we have both agreed on. Not as if I don't care. It is mutual agreement that, please, my mother needs this amount of money. Please, let's send to her. My dad needs this amount of money. Let's send to him. But then above it, sometimes at the beginning of marriage, it becomes an issue of concern when the marriage is still young. At a later time, the prayer is that God will bless you. If God bless the home, nobody cares how much you are giving to your parents. Nobody care how much you are giving out to people. As long as you are not doing it in secret, nobody will say, hey, oh yeah, my wife, sit down. How much have you given to people this month? Sit down. Ah, you are sending money to people. How much have you sent? Don't do all those things maliciously. Don't do it in secret. If God blesses you, bless others. But at the time when you are still using budget, like let's calculate it, we need to pay school fee, we need to pay house rent. Okay, this is the amount we know we can afford to give people. Let's do it in unity, not secretly. We have agreed on this, and you are going to do something else secretly. That does not portray a good home or a good marriage, in my own opinion.
Yeah, do it together. That's I think that's the borderline. Do it together. But we also need to not accept parents as they are. We also need to educate them. Like everybody needs to learn. So, and the education should be done with wisdom, gently, and over time. Like it's not going to sink down in a day. So let's say, for example, if like some couples agree that um they should interchange who gives to both parents. So, for example, I should be giving to my husband's parents, and anything that is going to go to my parents should come through my husband. If that works for you, fine. In our own case, we don't do that because I really don't see a need for it. Because I think that sometimes it's easy to assume that by doing that you are making them free, but not not in every case. So I think transparency is the bottom line here. If one person is giving, let the other person know, and educating the people we are relating with. There are still people till date who will give things to, and they will call me to say, "Help me to thank your husband. He gave me this." And I don't necessarily say, "Oh, we gave it to you together. You don't know," or something like yeah, I'll just because that is what they are used to, right? Because they know. So maybe in that case, they feel that, oh, I did not give them something. But over time in our relationship, like there will be people that after giving them, I'll be like, yeah, if you have time, you can send a text to my husband or call him to thank him as well. I've already passed that message that this is a joint giving, and they'll be like, oh, thank you. So over time, they are going to get used to it. But let's just do it with wisdom and educate the people that surround us too. We should not, because my mom always believes that I should drop something for her after we have dropped something, continue to do that. Like, just like, oh, mom, we just gave you that. Like, that's what we are giving you this time. That kind of a thing. Over time, they are going to get to learn that we are doing it all together. But let's not force it. Let's do it gently, because if we try to like force it, it might be received in a wrong way. It has caused conflicts in some families.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's do it gently. Let's be like, let's just take it cool and calm.
Wow, thank you very much, Sign Ma. I think from what Star Bumi shared, like taking it cool with the parents and in a way not to disrespect them, like Brofola said earlier, that we should as well respect them. So in situations like this, where that you while planning to pass across your message to your parents in these situations, how do you make them realize or better understand your viewpoint, your standpoint that, oh, this is how we want to do this. This is how we plan to run our family. And in situations where even after you might have even, you know, culture, like, would I say culture, in situations where parents strongly believe this is how we did it, possibly this is how it's meant to be done, and you are coming from another viewpoint like, oh, that was during your time, things have changed, and still it persists and they are still not seeing it the way you are seeing it. What would be the best way to approach it, such in such a way that they don't get you wrong or feel like you are disrespecting them?
Yeah. Yeah. See, family relationship, parental relationship is a deep thing, very deep thing, and it could be complicated sometimes, especially when you have different view about something. There's something that happened between me and my parent that I will use it as illustration. It's a live example. We both have different opinion about something. When we were young, my father had an opportunity, and he made use of the opportunity and made some decisions about the family at that time. And when I grew up, I had the same opportunity, and I he wanted me to make the same decision he made when he had that opportunity. And I was like, Dad, you know what? I understand you, but I want to do it differently. It pained him. It pained him to the point of tears.
Mm.
And that was mentioned to me that he went through that pain. But at the same time, I still showed him respect that, Dad, you may not see it from this angle that I'm seeing it now, but please, you raised me and you wanted me to have my own mind. This is the way it's appearing to me now. Let me do it. And it did not cause a strain in our relationship. And the step I took to today is glorifying God that I took that step. So it may not be immediately that your parents will see from your angle. And if the step I took backfired, my father will not say because of that, I'm renouncing you as my son. I will have learned, I will have learned from that situation. So it's very, very important that we may have different views, but don't let it get in between your relationship with your parents. Don't let it get in between your relationship with your siblings. It's always good to end it with, well, this is the way I'm convinced I should do it. Let me use this opportunity to also learn. If it is a wrong decision, where over time we'll all see it. And if it's the right one, but you don't need to force your opinion on people. You don't need to say because I work this way, your younger brother or your younger sister must do it that way too. If he doesn't do it that way, then he's already a failure. He's already no. And life is not built that way. So let's have the opportunity to reason together with one another and patiently. When you are communicating with your parent, especially communicate respectfully. Respectfully. Let them know that it's not out of rebellion. It's out of this is the way I see it. Please, sir, let me try it. Please, ma, let me try it my own way. And if it doesn't work, I will have learned and I will pick up your own way. That's my view.
Yeah. I also want to say that in that situation, integrity matters, right? Every parent knows the kind of child they have. So there are things that if I say no now, my mom will not think it's because of my husband, because she knows that that was the kind of child I have been. So integrity matters. Like your parents are going to know that you're this is the child I had. Like it was never an easy child. Or but if somebody does not have integrity, if they always say yes mom, yes mom, yes mom, yes mom, and then this time they are saying no mom, then automatically the attention goes to the spouse, because now they know there's a foreign body who have introduced the no mom side of their child. So integrity matters. Like, know the person you are in a relationship with. If in your presence they always don't have the confidence to say no mom, no dad, don't think it's going to happen when you get married. Because if it happens at all, then you bear the blame, because they will know that you must have been the person that has changed their child. So if your spouse is the type that is A to you but B at home, you need to know that that person is not a person of integrity, and it shouldn't be the person you engage with at all. Like, that's not somebody to trust, because they are going to cause some frictions that you may not be ready to handle. Then I also want to say that patience also, all of these things, like my husband said, parent child relationship is a complicated issue. Even when as a wife, I can look at my husband and say, you must prioritize me over your parents, you must prioritize me over your parents. Maybe we have some divisions, but I should not forget that those were the parents that went through all the pains to make him who I found. Without their sacrifices, I probably wouldn't have found him. So we should understand the fact that sometimes, where somebody is coming from, like, he's the one that knows the day, maybe that his dad had to not eat because
I need to go to
he
school.
needs to go to school. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the picture. I don't know the sacrifices the parents made for him. So, if in some cases it's because of those sacrifices, taking a stand that I don't actually agree with, I should be patient enough and be empathetic, to see from his side. Because in some cases, some people are just very different. Maybe in my home family, we are well to do. My dad does not need our money, so we don't send money to him. But in his own family, his parents need, I'm just using that as an illustration, that's not the situation. But let's assume that in his own family the parents need support at this time. I should not say I don't care, why should we send? That is not having empathy enough, and that might create some frictions. That might be the reason why some people will even want to do some things in secret. But doing it in secret is not solving the problem. We should come to an agreement and understanding of the situation of things, and if need be, we can introduce a third party who is able to see from A side and B side and give a proper counsel. So, all of these things take patience sometimes because of the differences in background, but we should allow patience to do its work. At the end of the day, we'll thank ourselves for here that we were patient with one another. So that's another thing that I want to say about that. But with our parents, like you said, let us honor our parents. Honor your spouse's parent, give them honor, like, treat them like yours. It may be different. Some parents might even be naturally very difficult,
Yeah.
but that does not mean that we should dishonor them.
Yeah.
We should still respect them, we should still honor them, and be patient with them. Over time, um our light as a Christian is going to shine out. So, yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. It's been an interesting conversation today. Wow, to all our viewers out there, thank you so much for joining us live today. And if you are still in the conversation, please don't hesitate to share this video out to your friends, your colleagues at work, your siblings, and any other person that you know is going to benefit greatly from this discussion. So while we bring this discussion to a close today, I would like to ask Brofala and Sister Bumi about our takeaway for today's episode.
Good. Good. Yeah, so my takeaway, we just go back to the topic. Is business? Is it a business? My phone call? Yes, it's a business. But that doesn't mean I should not give her the freedom she requires. And if anybody is asking you for privacy, first honor that privacy. And eventually let the person understand the reason why privacy should have boundaries too. Honor the privacy. Is your wife there? Yes, she's there. Oh, I want to talk to you alone. Okay, I will excuse myself. You excuse yourself, you speak with them, and during that conversation, you may let them know that, well, this is not supposed to be a private thing to my wife. But if, since you wanted it that way, I've excused myself, we have talked, then let's decide on the way forward. So honor your family, honor your spouse, and then still honor people that are outside your home too, and let them know your stand. Be sincere, be straightforward. That's
Yeah. And I want to also add that a situation that came to my mind is situations where spouses, maybe the wife or the husband is difficult, such that the other partner is not free or safe enough.
mm,
Seek counsel, seek help. That is not how your family should
sure, no,
remain.
yeah.
Yeah, if it's a situation where, oh, my husband must not heal, and because of that, even legitimate things, some spouses are so afraid to communicate with their partner. You're already married to this person, so seek help. Continuing in that cage will not still end well. Like it won't solve the problem. So seek help, and God is going to direct and help
Mm,
you, guide you through the right person, give you the wisdom to relate with your spouse, and be able to come to a place of agreement where you are operating without fear. Love casts away all fear. That is what the Bible says. So there shouldn't be a wall of fear between husband and wife, such that you are too mindful. Like it's like you're walking on eggshells
Mm.
in discussing with your partner.
yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. I really enjoyed the conversation all through from the beginning to the end. Thank you so much, Doctor and Dr. Mrs. Bolaji, for these wonderful contributions. And to our viewers out there, we really appreciate you. And wow, it's the last episode for this year, 2023. And on this note, we are wishing all our viewers out there Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year 2024. On this note, we'll be signing out, and until we come your way again, it's still Jinsei Matters with Roy. Stay safe and have a blessed year 2024. See you in 2024, guys. Bye, guys. Thank you very much, sir and
Bye.
ma.
Yeah.
Right now, it's Ginseng Matters. Come back to Ginseng Matters on Ginseng Matters. It's Ginseng Matters. Yeah, it's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. It's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. Right now, it's Ginseng Matters. Come back to Ginseng Matters on Ginseng Matters. It's Ginseng Matters. Yeah, it's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. It's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. Right now, it's Ginseng Matters. Come back to Ginseng Matters on Ginseng Matters. It's Ginseng Matters. Yeah, it's still Ginseng Matters with Roy. Still Ginseng Matters with Roy.